I'm Calvin Austin III, wide receiver for the University of Memphis.
It's Anthony Sane for Sports 66 Mornings.
This is Rodney Williams, tight end for the Denver Broncos.
This is Tommy Haynes.
This is EJ Manuel, and you're listening to No Cap Sports.
With No Cap Sports.
And the No Cap Sports.
No Cap Sports, three of the hardest grinding brothers in the business.
What made you get into coaching?
Yeah, so I had some really phenomenal coaches, but that wasn't the world of where I wanted to be. I wanted to go to PT school. I thought that was what I wanted to do. That was going to be my track. And then I get a phone call from my head coach, and he says, "Hey, do you want a GA?" And I said, "Well, what does GA mean?" And he said, "Well," he goes, "Look, I'll pay for your master's, and all you got to do is coach football." And he goes, "I'll have you come back, and you'll be the assistant O-line coach with your O-line coach." I was like, "Okay." I said, "That sounds good." I said, "I probably could get into a better PT school if I do that, would have a master's and things like that." So it's like, great, I'll come back and I'll do that. So ended up doing that and had no idea how that worked. You know what I mean? Didn't understand that meant I had no food, I had no housing. Literally the only thing they were doing was paying for my school. And it wasn't like they were giving me money. They were just giving me a waiver. So like I got paid $0.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? It was a little different. But it was a cool experience. And then what I started to realize as I started coaching, and it was really tough for me because a lot of the guys, because I was a fifth-year guy.
Yeah, so you're coaching guys you just
played with. Yeah, so that was a little tough. But what I realized for me and where I kind of fell in love with it was there was a lot of things that happened in my life, and a lot of it came through football. I got opportunities to do a lot of things that I never would have had a chance to do. And I had some really great coaches that were, at the end of the day, I mean, they were father figures for me, especially being so far away from home. I didn't have that. So, I didn't have a guy, I could call my dad, obviously, or call my mom, but it was weird. You want to talk to somebody in person.
Yeah. And
so I had those coaches that were like that. And as I started coaching, I realized that that's really what coaching was. It was, it's coaching a sport. It's getting these guys doing football. It's all those things, but it's getting a chance to help guys grow and develop in the mid. Yeah. And that's what I fell in love with. So I said, I think I'll stick around and do this. And then here I am now in 2023, still doing it. And I've never looked back. You know what I mean? And the old saying is, what is it? If you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's really what it turned into. I wanted to go to PT school because I wanted to be a PT and make money. Yeah. That's the only reason I wanted to go. I knew they make good money. And I wanted to make good money. And so I became a football coach. We don't make good money. It's just the way it works. But the enjoyment, man, I wake up every day. I'm excited to go to work. It's never like, I gotta go do this today. I don't ever feel like that. And to have that blessing matters so much way more than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so, starting off early, as a GA, as a young coach, you kind of have to wear a lot of different hats. You don't know what you're going to be doing. I saw you work D-line, running backs, tight ends, receivers. How hard was it for you to make that adjustment as a coach, who only played O-line his whole career? How hard was it to adjust and coach a little guy like me playing receiver?
It was really tough. So when I first started off, I was an O-line guy, which was great because that was home for me. The problem that you get when you become that or with what you are, so for me, I understood blocking scheme. I understood how to block the box. I understood really how that all worked out. And I thought I was a good football coach because I understood that. What I really didn't understand until I got older, as I didn't know nothing about anything else that happened outside of my world. Yeah. I understood O-line, and that was it. And I didn't care to learn anything else. I was like, this is all I need to know. As I got older and started coaching more, I got transitioned to wide receivers. Obviously not. No clue. Never even imagined being one of those. You know what I mean? I'm kind of glad I didn't play professionally because my numbers always went, this is funny, kind of sidetrack. So I was 77 in middle school, 78 in high school, 79 in college. So if I would have had to go play, I had to play receiver. I had to be an athlete, which is even scarier. So when I went over to receiver, I was scared to death because it's different too. The personalities are different. Yeah. Completely different personality in the room with a receiver than an O-lineman. Yeah. O-linemen are
I always say O-linemen are the life of the team. Every team I've been on, my best friend or the people I've been close with have been O-linemen.
They are, and they're usually happy. They're always easy to get around. They're kind of You can beat on them and they don't care. They just kind of move on. So you can coach them a whole different way. When you go to receivers, different world, a little bit more, in not a negative way, but it's just what it is. It's a little bit more prima donna, a little bit more, because they're athletes.
Yeah.
They get their name in the paper. They make catches. They score touchdowns. Yeah. It's different. Like, you're a weapon. So you talk to a weapon differently than you talk to the shield, if that makes sense. So having to balance and understand how to work with the personalities, which was great, because that's when I got to learn that you don't coach everybody the same way. I can yell at some guys. Mm-hmm. Some guys, if I yell at them, they turn down and they go in the tanks. Yeah. There's some guys you got to just, hey, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? And I got to learn that with that group especially, which was really awesome. And then it opened my mind to passing game. Yeah. So now I started to understand how passing game worked. I understand what coverages look like, how if a corner is leveraged, what coverage they possibly can be, where safeties are aligned. Like, it just started to open my mind to a lot of things. So that was awesome. Got to learn a lot. And like I said, you know, learn to handle the personalities. And it was in a really crazy transition because we were going from the spread to the triple option. Yeah. So I went from having a heavy wide receiver room with a lot of guys that were big time weapons for us to going into an offense where only two guys played. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so imagine now all the different weapons in the room, and they're all battling for the two spots. Yeah. It's a different world. You know what I mean? So trying to manage that room was really awesome for me as experience-wise. Did that, then went to running backs for a little bit. Enjoyed coaching the running backs. Again, different group of guys. Yeah. They were kind of the middle ground between the receiver and an O-lineman a little bit. So different type of dudes, though. But really enjoyed coaching them and had a lot of good ones that played for me and enjoyed that. Then went back to O-line for a little bit more. And then right before I left MC, it was kind of crazy how it all worked out. I ended up moving to D-line about a week before fall camp.
Like just sudden.
Oh, yeah. So we had a coach that retired late. And defense coordinator needed somebody to coach defensive. He was going to take over where the coach that retired was DB's coach. Mm. So defense coordinator was going to coach DBs. Our D-line coach was going to coach the linebackers. And he needed a coach on staff that he trusted to coach the D-line. And I was one of the few guys that he was like, I can trust your work, take him now, let's move him. So
now I'm going to the whole other side
of the ball. Going the whole other side of the ball. And I'm a week before we start install fall camp. And so trying to wrap my head around that and getting there and trying to learn from as many people as I can, as quickly as I can before that happens. But it was fun, man. I enjoyed coaching D-line. They were different dudes, too. And it was because you kind of got a little bit of that receiverness, but in an O-lineman. Because D-linemen are very much like O-linemen to an extent, except they have a little bit more bravado to them.
Yeah, they get the sag.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. They could be a big impact by themselves. So there's a little bit more of that weapon feeling to them, even though they're big guys. And so they still, at the heart and soul, they're all very much similar, but that's a little bit different. So you still got personalities you got to manage in that room. But it was great, man. I had some really good guys that played for me. You actually know one of them, Coach Wash, came out and helped us for a little while. So Coach Wash played the end for me when I was the D-line coach. I have another guy who's coaching in North Louisiana. I believe he's at Ouachita Parish now. He's the D-line coach there. He played for me. So I got a chance to coach a lot of different dudes and being on that side of the ball, you know, and different mentality, which is kind of cool for me because I've never had to be in that mentality of a defensive mind mentality. So getting a chance to have that was kind of awesome. But, you know, it all kind of helped broaden my spectrum and help me to understand things more as a coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. Got to see bigger pictures of things. And D-line was good for me because I knew what O-linemen like to do. And I knew what O-linemen hated done to them. So I could teach that to those guys. And then for those D-linemen, they don't know what it was like to be an O-lineman. So I'd be like, hey, look, if you do this, a lot of things change for this guy. Yeah. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. But they don't understand because they weren't O-line. So it was a lot of cool things we got to learn from each other and do. And it was a great time, man. It really was. And then getting hired here and coming back and getting back to O-line was always great. I am an O-line at heart, man. I'm an O-line coach. That's what I love. That's the guys I love. That's what I played. So it's always great to get back to that.
Kind of what you said, like going from O-line to D-line, like you knew everything. Like I kind of had like a similar experience. Like when Coach Mo came here, like he played DB, and like he taught me like so much that like I never would have thought he would have been able to teach me. But kind of like as you were saying about just your game, your knowledge of the game expanding by doing so many different things. Like, how did you get into special teams too?
Yeah, so I got into special teams. Really, it was kind of a weird situation. So whenever I was starting off as a young GA at MC, our special teams coordinator at the time, he needed some help, and I've always been a guy where I wanted to learn. Yeah. So if somebody needs something or wants help, and it's something that I think that can help me, I definitely want to help. Yeah. And so I talked to him about it. I was like, look, I don't know anything about special teams. I was on field goal team. That's all I've ever been on. I said, but I'd love to learn and love to hear from you and talk. And so we got a chance to really work with him. And then when I got hired full time, he had me help him a lot with special teams. So got to work on punt, got to work on kickoff return, got a chance to work on all of them. Because of working with him, got a chance to be a part of a lot of meetings and Zooms and things like that, or clinics with. We went to Alabama one year and learned from him, and got to do a lot of clinics and stuff where I got to learn a lot. And for me, it was always about this job. Trying to find jobs is really hard, first of all, especially in our profession. But the more you know, the more opportunities that are available for you there, right? So, like, I'm an O-line coach. I feel great about my experience in O-line, and I know I can coach O-line. But I also have background as a running backs coach. Yeah. I also have background as a D-line coach. I also have background as a special teams. So I also have background, very small, but I still consider it there a little bit as a receivers coach. So now when these different job opportunities open up and I'm looking to advance my career, especially when I was younger, there was more opportunities for things for me to apply for. So, it was kind of like how you treat school. You use school school uses you to get you here, and you use school to get to a better thing. Yeah, it's the same concept. You know what I mean? And that's what I was trying to figure out. So I just wanted to learn, and it was something new for me. So that was kind of cool. Like, I wanted to learn, like, why do you do this? Why is this?
Especially as a guy who doesn't play.
Yeah, because I never did it. So it was foreign to me. You know what I mean? It was kind of neat to try and get involved with that, and then coming here, having the opportunity to coach more special teams. When Coach Carter was the head football coach, and I really enjoyed that too because it kind of got me back to those roots. Yeah. Special teams is I relate it to O-line play because it's very little minute details and a lot of game planning, but it's such a big part of the game that people don't realize. I mean, there's a lot of things that when you talk about momentum changes in games, big part of that special teams. There's a lot of things that can happen and that can make some big things happen, change, and go. So having a chance to be able to coach that is pretty awesome. I had a coach one time say, the reason it's called special teams is because it's special. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it takes special people to be on it, and it's special in terms of the game. Yeah. There's a lot
out of the game, like you said, the
real quick
touchdown.
Yeah, real quick. So that was why I wanted to do it. But it was fun. I've enjoyed, especially plus for me, it got me around. Get to coach more guys. Yeah. So now you don't have to just coach one lineman. I get to coach
some of everybody.
Receivers. Yeah. I get to coach DBs. I get to coach linebackers. So anytime I can be more involved with the players, it's always a good thing.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of glad we talking about special teams and how important they are, because now I kind of want to ask you a few questions, like, just some common things coaches say to see if they're really true or not. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So first question, talking about special teams, I don't remember the exact number coaches use, but teams that score on special teams win X amount of the time. Because I remember this is something Coach Evo used to say all the time and things like that. So is there some truth to that, or is that?
That is very true. Yeah. I don't know exactly the number, but I do know this. I know the odds of winning increase drastically if you are able to score on special teams. Now, I had another coach who, and this was just really one thing, he always hated it. Like, if he had never won a game where they returned the opening kick for a touchdown. Again, that was like his kiss of death. If that happened, he's like, we're losing. It's going to happen. Like, and this is the guy, he was one of my high school coaches. He said it happened for like 20 years. He had tracked it. Yeah. And every time it happened, they lost that game. So, it's a little bit, I guess, how you feel. I know, statistically speaking, though, in our game, like, if you can score on special teams, the statistics of you winning or the chances of you winning increase way.
All right. So another question. Well, another thing coaches say, there are no easy games. We've got to bring our best every day. Because I will say I've seen some teams that we could just throw the ball out and beat.
I agree with that statement. There isn't an easy game. And this is why I say that, because I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
That there are teams out there that you look at and you go, that's not that big a deal.
Yeah, like no disrespect,
but it's just you just feel like. But let's go back and let's just look at the game of football as we've seen it. Let's think about Michigan and App State.
Yeah.
Let's think about Florida State and Sanford not too long ago. Let's think about, I was talking to somebody, I think Georgia last year struggled a little bit versus Kent State, maybe. Like, those are games that you're thinking, it shouldn't even be a thing. But what you don't realize is, for you and your mindset, it's, this shouldn't even be a game.
Yeah.
But for that opposing team,
that's their big opportunity.
It could be what that could be. Now, they could just also be going, man, we're about to get blown out. And then that kind of plays into what you're saying. But a lot of times, some of those guys, they're looking at it going, hey, maybe this is the team that beat you.
Yeah. So
you don't know what their mentality is going again. They might be looking at their schedule going, well, we're playing 10 games, got 9 losses. But we got this one team, and that's what we're putting all the eggs in the basket on. So I'm a firm believer there is no such thing as an easy game.
Yeah. All right. And so, kind of keeping up with the same game topic, after a loss, some coaches will come in and say, we didn't play well enough to win today, and that starts with me, or that's all on me. I didn't get you guys prepared. So when coaches say that, is that like, do they actually mean it, or is that just
no? That's a true statement. Yeah. As coaches, and I think this is what you guys forget as players. As competitive as you are, we're just as bad. So for us, it's like anything else. When a game is lost, the first thing is that if you're a true competitor, you always look at, you point the finger at it. So that's us as coaches.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. If we lose a game, none of us ever walk into a game thinking we're going to lose this game. We planned, you know what I mean? We prepared, we've done everything to win this football game. So when it doesn't go that way, that's true, man. The first thing we're doing is we're looking at ourselves like, all right, it's got to be on me, first of all.
Yeah.
Like this, if we didn't win this game, or if we didn't, and there's some games where maybe you're not going to win, but if we got blown out by this team that we should have, that's on me. Like, that's on us as coaches. We obviously didn't prepare. We obviously didn't get you guys prepared. We screwed up somewhere. So, yeah, man, it's tough on coaches.
Yeah. 2 more. Okay. So, conditioning, especially with camp coming up, every coach's favorite thing to say is stand up. It ain't no air down there. You've been through it as a player. Now you're a coach. Is that true? Is that just coach speak?
So I always was told that was true.
Yeah.
And it made sense for what I was told that, that if you bend, the reason why people have always said is if you bend over, it compresses the diaphragm. You can't feel your lungs as much. But I want to say I heard the piece of science like a year ago that came out that said that that's completely inaccurate, and that if you bend over, it doesn't affect your breathing. So I think what you see with us as coaches, why we always push that, is it goes back to just mental toughness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely,
it's not necessarily you can't breathe. You can probably you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's getting you into the mindset of fighting the mental urge of you wanting to bend over and show weakness, and standing tall and being like, okay, yeah, I'm hurting. But what you don't realize for us, what we're trying to get you to feel, is like, there's points in the game where you're hurt.
Oh, yeah.
It's done. But you don't want that guy to see that.
Oh, not at all.
So it's the same concept with us as coaches. We're like, hey, don't bend over. Stand up. Stand tall.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that we believe in the science of you can't breathe. It's the mental toughness aspect of it. And, hey, don't show that you're hurt.
Yeah.
Don't show that, this is physically demanding for you. Because right now there's nobody across from you. But there's going to be a point where there's somebody across from you that will pick up on those things and see those things and will exploit you for them. Yeah. And that's kind of the reason I think we do as coaches.
Yeah. And so, last question. You get to the end of the season, or you get to the start of the new season, you're introducing yourself to your players. I've heard this like a few times. We're going to out-recruit everybody here.
That's true. That is the goal.
Yeah. That
is the goal as us as coaches. And it's not a slight to the players. But that's if you want the program to be better as a player, and obviously as coaches we want it too, then you have to bring in better players. Now there's a piece of that gets left off a lot of time. Our job is to out-recruit you, and that is correct. But it's your job to not get out-recruited.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So what we always talk about, if I bring in a freshman wide receiver. Let's go back to you being a freshman, right? You come back to your sophomore year, and I tell you, you're a freshman. My job to out recruit you. It is. My job is to bring in a freshman that's better than you when you were a freshman.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense? Because now you should have a year of development, and you should have gotten better when you perfected your craft. Yeah, you're right, Coach. He was better than me as a freshman. Yeah. He ain't better than me now as a sophomore, though. Yeah. And that's what the goal of what we're trying to do, because now you're playing this piggyback effect. So if you're here as a freshman and then you get to here as a sophomore, right? So, but if I recruit a freshman next year that's here, when he gets to being a sophomore, you were here. Where's he going to be?
A little bit
here.
Up,
but now you should be a junior. You see how it stacks? So I think players sometimes get that as a bad taste in their mouth when you say we're going to out-recruit you. Yeah. That's our job. Yeah. It's your job not to be out-recruited. It's your job. We didn't say we're going to find somebody to replace you.
Oh, yeah. Not at all.
And that's the thing that guys always get. They're like, oh, they're going to out-recruit me. They're trying to find my replacement. That's not what we said. Our job's out to recruit you. It's your job to keep your job. That's right.
Yeah, because that's how I always look at the players. Like, I only got a limited amount of time here.
Correct.
My time's going to be done. At some point, somebody else got to play. And it's my job, like you said, to keep them back. But I will say Deion kind of gave that new definition when he went up to Colorado and let everybody go.
Yeah, it's different. but it's also just because of the concept of, like we just said, you're a sophomore, right? Yeah. You've gotten better. And God forbid you have an injury. Yeah. And now that freshman needs to fill in. It'd be really bad if that freshman was worse than you. Exactly. You know what I mean? When you were a freshman, you know what I mean? So that's the point of it. Like, it's trying to build and trying to grow from there. But a lot of guys get locked into that. They when they hear that out recruit, they think they're trying to take my position. No, we're not. It's your position. Yeah. So if you lose it, who lost the position? I didn't take it from you. You lost it. You didn't prepare as well as this guy did.
Yeah. And so now kind of transitioning to your time here at Millsaps. You've been here with two different head coaches. So kind of what was that, first of all, just starting there, what was that transition like, going from having one head coach your first year and then having that suddenly change with COVID on top of that? Like, what was that transition like?
It was crazy. So it was a blessing, when Coach Pelch reached out to me. Coach Pelch has been a friend of mine for years, and I've always wanted to work here. Millsaps was always kind of an interesting place to me. So when he reached out to me to come work, I was excited about it, took the job, and then in true scared fashion of the way things happen, he retires right at the end of the season. Right after I move and change jobs, you know what I mean? So that's scary as a coach. You know what I mean?
Because you don't know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, that's right. You don't know about your sustainability. You don't know about what the future holds for you, especially when you add in a wife and kids and factors like that. Like, that's nervous. So it was a scary moment, man. I had that happen to me once before, where it was even crazier. I just got married, just bought a house.
Oh, wow.
Head coach got fired at the end of the season. I bought the house in July. Head coach got fired in November. Wow. Yeah. So I'd been in that transition a little bit before, so I wasn't probably as freaked out as I was when I was younger. But it's still scary, man. It's the unknown, right? Yeah. So the thing that I did, and when I look back at, okay, how can I, change these things? And I had a coach tell me one time, an older coach, that said, always make yourself valuable. If you can make yourself valuable, you'll have a chance of sticking around. And so that's what I did, man. I poured myself into the work and tried to make sure that I was able to have a good body of work in front of me where I worked my butt off. I could do all these different things. I recruited my butt off, all these different things. So when the new head coach came in, he would want it. Yeah. And I learned that. I've been blessed. I've only had to work in two different institutions, but I've worked for 4 different head coaches. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and that's a blessing, and that's because of trying to make myself valuable and making sure that I'm the guy that can do a lot of things that you need done. Yeah. And so it was nervous, man. It was really, really nervous. And then Coach Carter gets hired. And Coach Carter was awesome. Loved working for him. Great guy, strong Christian man. Really enjoyed him. Really became one of who I would consider to be one of my best friends today. Did a really good job of mentoring me and giving me ability and giving me the tools I needed to continue to grow, which was awesome. But then that was later down. But he gets hired, and then bam, COVID happens. And I'll never forget it because I was with some buddies of mine on a bachelor party for him. It was right during spring break, and he gives me a call. He goes, how long are you going to be down there? I was like, Coach, I'm coming back next week. You know, when school starts, he's like, check your email.
Take another week.
You got another week if you want it. I said, oh, Coach, I don't think I can afford another week down at the beach. I said, I'll still be back. But it was crazy, you know, and I think that was a big help that I gave him was I knew all of you guys. Yeah. And for him, you know, he was only here less than 30 days before he had to shut down. You guys got sent home. So I was able to be a good middleman for him as far as, hey, this is who this is, and talking through everybody and kind of get him on deck with all that. And so, but it was crazy, man. COVID was a wild time. You know, playing in the spring and
practicing all fall.
Yeah, it was weird, man. Then you had the ice storms and, you know, shut down campus for a week and a half because of that. It was just like, ugh. And then you had COVID testing all the time. And I think, like, my nose, the nostrils have permanently gotten larger from the swabs. Yeah. You know what I mean? All those things. So it was really cool, but it was also good for me and him because you guys weren't here and we weren't able to do much football stuff. So me and him got to really build our relationship. Yeah. And he kind of got to see where I was coming from and what some things I wanted to do in my future. And so he, like I said, gave me those tools and the things I needed in order to do that, helped develop me to be in that role. Because head coaching, man, it's different. And I always heard somebody say it, and you know, I always heard people say it, and everybody thinks they're ready to be a head coach until you become a head coach. And you find out you're not ready at all. And it's true. It's a very true statement. There's things that, you know, as a young assistant, you think you know. Oh, it's not that hard. Yeah, okay. You'll find out when you get in that world. And he tried to really help me. He knew that was a goal of mine. You know, I've always wanted to be a small college football head coach. And so he tried to give me the tools and things to get me to where one day that could possibly happen. And so I was blessed to have that relationship. Not only, and then also with Coach Belch resigning but still being AD. So having that friend there too, not losing friends, you know, if that makes sense, and then getting blessed with having another friend with a new head coach. So it was a good time.
Yeah, and kind of just talking about, like, you know, making yourself valuable, like that goes across anything, like whether you're in sports like coaching, playing, like take that on to school, like you got to make yourself valuable.
Workplace, the whole thing.
Exactly.
That's it, man. When layoffs come down the line at a job, if you're valuable, yes, they're going to skip over. Yeah, that's right. You're going to secure yourself with a job. And so it's something big, man. I think, you know, that's understanding the role and understanding of that is big. And then Coach Belch said a quote, and it's stuck with me ever since when we did our first fall camp here with him. We did our staff meetings and stuff. He's like, number one job of an assistant coach is to make the head coach's job easier. And once I understood that, and it wasn't that, it was really to make it to where if there's things that can be handled or things that you can do, take it off the head coach's plate. Yeah. And I realized that kind of played into the valuable part. That's being valuable. Yeah. If there's things that can be done, now there's some things that head coach has to be involved with. Yeah. Can't avoid it. But, you know, changing the laundry detergent or the soap dispensers, that's not a head coaching duty. Like being aware of those things, like, oh, that needs to be changed. Oh, we ran out. Okay, hey, we need to order those. Like those are things that you can do, but those things make you valuable. So now all of a sudden, when the head coach goes, man, why haven't we changed the dispensers in the coach? I've already changed those a couple times already. Oh, okay, like those things make you valuable, and make you want to be kept on. You know, and so I learned that from him, man, and it was really awesome to kind of understand. When I finally grasped that meant a lot to me, because then I was like, that gives me an idea of where I need to work. And now, you know, I think that's what's put me in the position that I'm in today. Got a chance to be involved and have my hands in a lot of things that a lot of guys, you know, as a young coach, you just like, man, I don't really want to do that. I just want to coach my position. Just want to coach my guys. Well, that works to an extent, but if you want to grow in this profession and if you want to have opportunities to do certain things, you know, if your goal is to eventually become a head coach, well, you don't have those knowledge and you don't have those backgrounds on how to do those things unless you put yourself in those situations.
Okay. And like one of the things that like always stood out to me about you was just your determination or like your loyalty to the school or your loyalty to the program. Because I don't remember if it was like after Coach resigned or if it was in that fall season. But I remember you telling us like, hey guys, like I'm not going anywhere like unless I get a head coaching job. And like that was like, man, like you're literally like the longest tenured coach. Like I played for like outside of my high school coach, and so like that meant a lot to me as a player. Like knowing like okay, this guy's gonna be around no matter what. Like he's dedicated, and then like taking that a step further is just seeing how much you invest in everybody you work with. Like you always see you with the O lineman, extra work before practice, after practice, non-practice time. Like, so I'm gonna put a pause there. Can you tell them about what was it, Lagniappe?
Lagniappe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lagniappe. So Lagniappe I got from my O-line coach in college. Lagniappe is a French Cajun word for a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Is what it means. So that was his thing whenever I was in college. We used to always, after every practice, we always did extra conditioning and all these different things, and that's what it was. It was Lagniappe.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of kept that with me, and it was really just because that was the expectation of the work that's to be put in. And a lot of guys don't realize. Like I was talking with Coach Burton earlier, like O-line is so different because nothing that an offensive lineman does is a natural body movement or body position. Everything has to be taught. And what I mean by that is like this, like we all grew up in the backyard playing pickup football games.
Yeah.
Everybody's lined up as a receiver. Not that it was a great form or all those things, but they've lined up out there like this and they ran
the ball,
what the kind of route they think and they caught a ball and everybody's been the all-time QB throwing the ball. Somebody's been a DB and had to play coverage on those guys. Like all those things are natural. You do that just growing up. Nobody walks down the hallway at a high school or goes in their backyard and is like, I'm going to go work on my inside zone steps. Like, that doesn't happen. I really want to sit down in this uncomfortable three-point stance and see how long I can do this. So because of that, everything's just this, it's all this extra learned movement. So because of that, he always felt like we had to do extra work.
Yeah.
And some days it was conditioning. Some days it was maybe working on kick sets. Some days it was watching film. Lagniappe differentiated depending on what it was, but he always wanted us to get in this world of, and I think he did it for us to be better men, of like understanding like basically going the extra mile, doing a little bit extra, making yourself different from somebody else. Because hey, it's 5 o'clock, I'm shutting it down, end of the workday. Versus man, look, hey, okay, say you see you later, and you stay till 5:30, which isn't a lot.
It's just that little extra.
It's that little extra that puts you ahead for the next day. And now the next day you come into work and you're smooth on. This guy's complaining, I got to do these stupid forms I didn't get to finish yesterday. Well, why don't you just stay for 30 more minutes and get them done and made your day smoother? You know what I mean? So that's where we got Lagniappe from. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then like I'm not gonna lie, I've heard some Lagniappe horror stories.
Yeah, there is.
Being cool with like Walt, like in the off season, got them out there running hills.
There is. So in the off season, I let those guys kind of take control of it. But I have some workouts that I've done in the past. I give them, and they kind of disperse. But that's what it is. It goes back to the mental toughness.
Yeah.
It goes back to the want to. Nobody wants to get up early in the morning and do anything.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. I mean, that's just part of life. But you're here. You want to get better, or do you want to be the same? Most guys will tell you they want to get better. Well, if you want to get better, it costs extra. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit more. You want to be an All-American. You want to be an All-Conference. Those take All-American and All-Conference sacrifices.
Exactly. Can't wake up at 9 and be an All-Conference player. Yeah.
No, exactly. So getting guys to understand that there's sacrifices that have to be made in order to be what you want to do.
Yeah.
And we do it all the time as coaches. I mean, it's my wife does a really good job. She's amazing at it. Like I sacrifice a lot of time with her and our kids during the fall season because it's football season. That's what I want to do. That I want to do, and she knows that. But I just have to make up for it on the back end, which I always do. So, but I want us to be great. I want us to be a great football team. I want us to be great at everything we do. Well, there's sacrifices that come from doing that. You just can't roll the ball out there and say, hey, guys, we're going to go practice for an hour at 5 o'clock. And, all right, shut it down, everybody get a shower, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow around 3. That's not good. It doesn't work that way if you want to be good. So getting guys to understand the sacrifices it takes to be great.
Yeah. And, like, that's a big part of, like, just shaping men past college. And that's really, like, what you've been able to do. Like, and a lot of guys I've seen come through, like, all the linemen that have come through, like, you just look at guys that the program has put out, like the Waltz, just all the Walt's just the biggest thing in my mind.
He's kind of the Millsaps Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like Millsaps Hall of Fame. He's all doing great things. And, And I'll say, like, even me personally, like, you touched me, like, real deep. Like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but, like, it was, like, my sophomore year was an up and down year. Like, you know, I was a freshman that didn't play. Then I got thrown into playing. And just that whole struggle my sophomore year. And so coming into my junior year, I was like, man, I don't know what this is going to look like. I just struggled. I don't know what the coaches feel, anything like that. And it was like one day after a practice, you just pulled me in and he was like, hey, man, like, you showed some things your sophomore year. That's not you. Like, I've seen you. I know you. Like, you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just put that confidence back in me. And it was like, for me, if you never told me that, like, I had thoughts about, like, just being done after that junior year, especially with COVID, like transferring, going somewhere, trying to find myself again. And it was like just you having that conversation with me. It really like made me stay here. Made me like this guy's bought into me. Like I'm buying into him. Like that's kind of how it felt. And like I know every player, or just about every player that's came in contact with you, feels the same way. So just like in terms of shaping kids and turn them into men, like how important is that to you as a coach?
You know, that's awesome to me, story. Look, at the end of the day, that's why we do this. And I think, you know, we can sit back and we can say, you know, we want to win games. Don't get me wrong, I want to win games.
Yeah.
That's important to me. But the ultimate goal for me really is to make sure that you guys grow up and become great men, become good husbands one day, good fathers. Like, I love getting phone calls and like, hey, coach, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
You know, hey, love for you to come to the wedding. Love hearing these things. Coach, I just got this new job. I'm going to make this much money. And like, that's the important stuff. And football is just a tool to get us there. You know, and obviously we want to win games. And I think the way we structure things and especially the way I try to hold guys accountable and do some other things like that, that helps with that. And that leads to those things. But I coach football because football gave a lot for me and changed my life. And not in football.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It changed my life outside of football. And that's why I coach football. It's not because I like being out here and wearing wearing the gear and doing like that stuff's great. Don't get me wrong. I love game day, I love all that. But like it's the chance that you get to be around the kids and develop players. And not necessarily develop them in the athletic system, develop them personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I talk to parents all the time with kids. It's like, as a mom and a dad, you guys have done phenomenal jobs of getting them to be this point in their life when they're 18 years old, which is important. And that's great. And what you're really doing at this point, you said to us in college, is you're entrusting us to continue it and grow them for the next 4 years. And in college age, this 18 to 21, 22-year-old age, like this is really what sets your moral compass moving forward the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so for me being able to be a part of that and help guide kids, and because I've done it all. I've done the stupid stuff. I've done the idiot things. And for me to be able to give a little bit of that knowledge to players, man, it's awesome. Yeah. I've been that guy who's been down on himself, who thinks about maybe even leaving and quitting and stepping away from the game. I've been that guy who's felt great and thinks he's on top of the world. So I've seen both sides of it, and you guys are still young enough that your emotions roller coaster a lot. And you got to have somebody help pull you out of those things. Because you're going to be down, but what trying to get guys to understand, there's a lot more highs than there are lows. But it's hard to understand that when you're in a low.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So that's what it's always been about for me, man. It's been about developing guys and developing them into being great men moving out of here. We win games on the way, which is what I want to do, which is what you want to do, which is what we all want to do. Great. But I can sleep easy at night knowing that I got guys that graduate from this program and that have been successful outside of this game of football. Because this thing ends, bro. Yeah. It ends for everybody. You know what I mean? Unless you want to be a guy like me who doesn't want to let go of it and hold on and coach. You know what I mean? But that's why we coach, because we can't let go of it. Yeah. But it ends for everybody. And what you're doing now is basically setting up the way you're going to move forward in the rest of your life for the next 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Yeah. 70 is a long age. You make it to 70, good. But that's the thing, man. Like, that's what this is all about. You know, I had an FCA guy one time talk to me. It was the coolest thing ever. He goes, "Why do you coach?" And it was the first time somebody had ever asked me that. And I have it hanging up in my filing cabinet up there. It was, "Why do you coach?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, I never had somebody ask me that. And I sat there and thought about it. I was like, man, I coach because I like helping grow young men.
Yeah.
And this is just an opportunity to do it. You know, my wife grew up in a ministry family. So she always talks about like, you know, we always talk about like your ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always thinks ministry is preaching or doing something in the church. Well, this is my ministry, I feel like. You know what I mean? For me, and getting a chance to help young men that come from all different backgrounds. I've had guys that grew up in households living in one-bedroom apartments with 9 siblings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had nothing, didn't understand, didn't know where their next meal was coming from. I've had other guys that I've coached that, you know, their parents are probably millionaires, you know what I mean? But everybody has struggles, whether you're rich, poor, black, white, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody has different struggles. And that's always been something for me, is like helping these guys understand that you can get yourself out of their struggles. And that there's a reason why we struggle. We struggle to learn at the end of the day. That's what it is, you know. And God puts us in our places, and probably maybe God's giving you the struggle because he wants you to get better at it, or he wants you to learn. He doesn't ever put anything on that we can't control or that we can't handle. He never does that to us. But that's always what I've always thought about, man. It's just getting a chance to develop men and making better husbands, better fathers, better men, period, all around the board. You know what I mean? So where these guys, they go on and have successful lives, which is awesome. That's the biggest one. As much as I'd love for you to have that ring on your finger, I mean, I'm serious. As much as I'd love for you to have that ring, hearing from you in 10 years about you having your 3rd kid, and that you're doing this phenomenal job and you're making 6 figures and you're doing this and you've been happily married and you're going to your 10-year anniversary or your 6-year anniversary, that stuff's awesome. That stuff sticks with us because that's life lasting. Yeah. These football games, like we sit here and talk about all these football games. I don't remember the scores half these games. Yeah. You know what I mean? I won a conference championship ring. I can't tell you the score of my last game of college football I ever played in.
Wow.
I don't know the score of that last game. You know what I mean? I can't tell you. You know, I know I lost. I do know that. I remember that. I lost my last college football game I ever played, but can't tell you first game I ever started. Can't tell why. I can't. Those things don't stick with me. But the coach that I had and the things that he instilled me, those things are stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I was thinking. Football, we get, as young people, we get stuck here. We see 8 inches in front of our face. Yeah. We don't think about all the years behind it. So and that's the other part of it, is helping you guys understand making decisions and things that are best for you guys. Because you guys will make a dumb decision because you're seeing this and not realizing that it's affecting all this things. You know what I mean? So we talked about that too. And that's why I do this, man. Love seeing you guys go on to be successful in life. It's awesome. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. That just told me like so much about you. Like you don't even understand, because like when I saw the news that you were becoming the head coach, I was so happy. Like I was still playing. Like I was like, this is my guy. Like you finally getting this opportunity to like be the head man. Like you've been here, you've done the work, you've like poured so much into everybody. So like just to you, how much does that mean that now it's like your program, your vision, and it's like you can do, I'm not gonna say whatever you want.
Yeah,
but you gotta have
yeah.
control of everything going on.
I'm super excited about it. I've been, these 5 years I've been at Millsaps have been amazing. You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody the other day about it, you know, and the biggest reason is because of the opportunities. I have been blessed with amazing opportunities being here. And this is just another one of those opportunities, you know, taking this role as interim head coach and trying to solidify myself possibly as the head coach moving past the season, you know. I've always wanted this. This is my dream, you know, to do this at a small college level. And I like Millsaps, man. It's a great place. I love working here. Yeah. The people that I work with, even outside of football, even outside of athletics, they're awesome people here. And they care about our kids, which is, it's always a big thing for me. I want to be somewhere where students are cared about. Mm. And not just the number, not just paying the bill. That makes sense. Yeah. But I'm excited about the opportunity, man. It's been a whirlwind of emotions the last month and a half. My wife knows I've been stressed out of my mind trying to make new hires for coaches and all these other things. But those are things like I feel the most confident in myself when I'm stressed. Mm-hmm. So like I love living in that world. Yeah. So it's been awesome, man. I'm just excited. I'm blessed for the opportunity. having a chance to kind of be at the forefront of this thing and controlling the way we do some things is awesome. It's really cool. I'm just excited, man. I cannot. My wife knows. Like I keep talking about, like I cannot wait until we get to game one.
Yeah.
Until we get to fall camp and all these things, because like I just feel like I've had some really good head coaches. Norman Joseph, Mississippi College, John Bland, Mississippi College, Aaron Pelch here, Isaac Carter that I've worked for that have helped mold me into what I think is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot of great things from all of them. And so I'm just excited to have the opportunity now to kind of put it into motion. You know what I mean? And being the head coach gives me a chance to be around everybody more, which is awesome. That's my one caveat of being an O-line guy sometimes is I don't get to be involved with the whole team. So, even getting a chance to talk to everybody doesn't happen as much. And so being the head coach, even though I still am the O-line coach, I get to make it more of a forefront for me to be around everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I don't know how the players feel. I think they're pretty excited about it too. They know there's some different things. It's not all sunshines and rainbows with me. You know that. I'm a tough guy. I demand a lot of discipline about things, even the littlest things, is the way your locker's kept and stuff like that, which I know you guys do. But, those are important things to me that I think help move you forward. So it's going to be a fun time, man. I'm super excited about it. I know that. I'm very excited.
And that's one of the reasons, I was excited you got this opportunity. Because your whole time you've kind of been like that culture guy. Like your locker needs to look this way. You need to have this on. We're running. Like you're gonna be in everybody's ear. Like, hey, speed it up. Like you're not doing enough. And so that's why I think this is big for you. I know this is big for you. So coming to that first game, do you think you're gonna be more nervous than when you were actually playing, or just kind of what are those emotions?
I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out for me, because that has been something that's crossed my mind. I remember how I felt. I still remember how I felt my first college football game I ever played.
Yeah.
And I was nervous. You know what I mean? Just because you're just not used to that.
Yeah.
I remember how it felt the first time when I first started coaching, and the first time I became an on-the-field coach. Because in the first couple of years I was in the box. So I remember what that felt like. And that was more of a awe-inspiring moment. It wasn't the nervous moment. I do not know how I'll feel when we line up against Belhaven, in August. I'm excited for it, though. It's going to be different, just being in that role, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot of things riding on it, you know what I mean? I want us to be successful. I think we have a great team, and I think we have the chance to be super successful next year. Not only with the returners, but with the incoming guys coming in, but this returning class, these guys we got coming back are finally grown.
Yeah,
they're not freshmen anymore. They're sophomores. They're juniors. So I'm super fired up about having those guys. So it's going to be some butterflies. I'll probably say that. You have to do a post interview for me to tell you how nervous I really am. But I have a funny feeling there will be some nervousness to me. And I don't know if I'll be more nervous there or if I'll be more nervous
here.
Game 2. That would be the real question, is which one was more nervous for me. But I'm excited about it, though. I am excited.
And like I said, I got a lot of faith in you that you're going to do great things. And I'm just going to be really excited because I'm definitely going to be back for some games, especially when y'all play Hendrix.
Yeah, for sure. You got to.
Yeah. But I really appreciate you for coming on here. And so I guess I'm just going to leave it here. Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything else you want, you know what I'm saying? Any stories you want to tell? Anything you want to tell people about you?
Ooh. You know what? No, I think I think you did a phenomenal job. I'm glad to see you're doing well, and glad to see that this is kind of taking off for you. If I can say anything again, I'm extremely grateful. That's really all it comes down to. I'm grateful to be here. I'm enjoying my time at Millsaps. It's been a phenomenal 5 years here, and I'm super excited to see how the future goes. And, I definitely don't need to tell any stories. That'd be bad. There's probably some good ones out there, I'm sure. I think especially if you ask some of the old linemen, they probably got some really good ones. No, man, I've been blessed. I really have been blessed, and I'm at the end of this whole thing, I'm proud to work here. I really am proud to work here. I'm proud to see where this team is going and where the school is going and where we're trying to move forward. And that's something that's super exciting for me, is to just be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for taking time out to kick it with me, Coach. And until the next time.